So, the creature this time is based on these 3 sketches that I did around a year ago. The idea behind these guys is that they dissolve their victims and restructure their body into different parts, like shells and claws. So, they can either be fragmented or have one big shell as a body. These can look very different depending on where they decide to live. The exception being maybe their large jaws, which might be instinctually made the same way. It structures parts to meet its needs, but here I'm messing with different legs because I didn't really know what I wanted. I did a few on-paper designs and added those here. Most of the time, these will dwell in large forests and some mountainous areas, so they need decent grip strength. Obviously, since it builds based on what it needs, it could be any or all of those ideas. It might have some spider-like hydraulic mechanisms or just big and bulky like this, so it can really grip and climb onto stuff like rocks and trees. I made a top-down view of this version to give you a better idea of the shape. I decided I'm going to start making these kinds of concept sheets, I guess you could call them, where I add notes and such for future reference instead of just one sketch and leaving it there. Once I got him mostly figured out, I moved on to doing thumbnails to figure out a scene to put him in. This is to get a few ideas out there by loosely sketching what pops into your head. After asking several people, I narrowed it down to one option, which was the longer distance profile view. It took a lot longer than it should have to eventually figure out what I was doing here. Part of the point of the thumbnails is to get that all mostly figured out beforehand, but I annoyingly still ended up wandering all over the place with this. Next time I'll try to remember that struggle and include the terrain in the sketches. I did end up going with the forest over the canyon, a tangle of trees that kind of twist all over the place, without any rhyme or reason really. I'm a lot more comfortable just sketching out ideas, but not so much rendering and doing full illustrations, so here I'm just starting with some flat colors to keep it simple. I wanted a dark and misty feel, so I experimented with a bit of mist before moving on to try and render these trees more, and to give some more depth to them. I sped this up quite a bit more because it was a little tedious to watch. What I did here was started with a flat color and went over it with the gouache brush in Clip Studio, which seemed to work pretty well. I knew they were mainly going to be shrouded in the mist, so I didn't spend an insane amount of time on them. Doing the same here for the actual creature, outlining all the parts better, and adding in some blocks of flat color to start with. I wasn't sure about color, but figured it would make sense to be more earthy color to roughly blend in at least. I actually like the pattern I ended up going with here. It made it look less like he happened upon some perfectly shaped boulders and more like he pieced together a bunch of fragments. After some of the design and positioning frustrations, it was really fun to go from the various rendered parts, which looked pretty lifeless, to bringing it all together with the mist and the layering and all that. It felt like it was becoming more and more real very quickly. And the light I gave him here really completed the ambience. If you start wondering how and why the torch is that bright, it's not. It's actually just a magical orb levitating above his hand, somehow. And that is one more piece of the puzzle to be added into my world, as complete as I could get it, at least for now.